What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new episode of TheLead Houston, where it's all Houston all the time. Today, we're going to be delving into what is a problem for the Houston Texans offensively. We're not getting into the O-line. We've continued to beat the dead horse way too much on the O-line, and we will have the conversations about the offensive line in a later date, but you've heard me have this conversation before. It is about the tight end position. ESPN came out with an article about a week ago talking about their top 10 tight ends. And the Houston Texans, you look at the tight end group, you're obviously wondering, does Dalton Schultz fall on the top 10 tight end list? And then your immediate answer should be, why the hell did I ask that question? Because Dalton Schultz is not a top 10 tight end. And there is why there is a problem offensively for the Houston Texans, because they need themselves a damn tight end. It feels incomplete to have somebody like Nick Caserio, a former tight ends coach, and not necessarily have a tight end, at least in theory, that can replicate what Nick Caserio exactly wants out of that position group. Dalton Schultz just doesn't feel like a guy that is very swarm mentality per se. Dalton is decent. He's okay, but it isn't somebody that I want the Houston Texans to continue moving forward with. Now, I've already harped a little bit on this. That's why I mentioned someone like David Njoku, realistic trade option that the Houston Texans, if they want to pull that trigger, they can absolutely do it. And come on, we're looking at the Cleveland Browns here. They seem like a sinking ship already, if the ship isn't already underwater to begin with. And I'm eyeing that roster specifically. Y'all have heard me talk about it. Y'all can hear more about it in that video right there, where I am talking about a possible trade scenario between the Houston Texans and the Cleveland Browns to get that aforementioned David Njoku. I look at the rest of this tight end group besides Dalton Schultz, who was an honorable mention on the ESPN top 10 tight ends list. He was an honorable mention, but the other two guys, you have Brevin Jordan and Cade Stover, which we will talk about them in a separate video, but there is an optimistic viewpoint that both of these guys could maybe turn into that year 2 leap for Cade Stover, or is it a year 5 comeback season in a big way for Brevin Jordan? Again, we will definitely deep dive into both of those guys in a later video, but right now, the Texans tight end group is pretty sad compared to the running backs, the wide receivers, and obviously CJ Stroud, and this is without talking about the offensive line. When I look at this tight end group, a realistic trade option is someone that I already mentioned in David Njoku. To me, that is a realistic one. And again, Dalton Schultz's contract is really going to throw this whole video out the window, because his contract to trade him, it's pretty much untradeable. But who knows? Nick Caserio is the GM. If there is a will, there is a way. And I'm going to have faith that that man can find a scenario to get rid of Dalton Schultz off this football team. Now, if Nick Caserio is really the tight end whisperer and he gets Dalton Schultz to play like what he was doing just his rookie year with CJ Stroud, not his rookie year, but CJ Stroud's rookie year, we saw an innate connection. It felt like they had something brewing there in CJ Stroud's rookie year. If Nick Caserio can do that, then that man might be the best tight end coach of all time. But I digress. The Houston Texans, we talked about a realistic trade scenario. I'm going to give you an unrealistic trade scenario. I'm sticking with the AFC North. I'm no longer in Cleveland, but I'm going to Maryland. I'm going to Baltimore, and I am eyeing the Ravens. Will they make this trade? Absolutely not. Why would they want to trade with somebody that is a contender as well in the AFC, someone that they might see in the playoffs potentially? Texans, Ravens, hopefully we get our lick back, but I look at their tight end group, and I'm looking at Mark Andrews and Isaiah Likely, and specifically Isaiah Likely. We're probably having a conversation a year too early, but that man is 25 years old, going to be 26, and to me, on the cusp of being one of the best tight ends in football. He's already a top 10 tight end, and he can do his thing. He is that dude. Isaiah Likely has that great connection with Lamar Jackson when the play gets broken. Who else is there for Lamar Jackson? It's Isaiah Likely. It sounds very similar to CJ Stroud and Nico Collins. And if you grabbed yourself a tight end of that caliber added to this offense, you're looking at some scary hours here in H-Town, because that is a guy that is a very unrealistic trade scenario. So then I my attention to a Mark Andrews, who's already gotten his contract. And it is a hefty contract, and I'm sure the Houston Texans cannot afford this trade idea, but that is why it is an unrealistic, a hypothetical that we love to do here on TheLead Houston, where it's all Houston all the time. Mark Andrews is that dude, and I understand that lately probably not getting it done statistically. But I do know if that man is cut loose and he has a Nick Caserio, who is a tight end coach, who can theoretically get that man back to what he was originally doing in a Baltimore Ravens jersey. Not that he never lost it, but it's kind of like getting your groove back. Mark Andrews, CJ Stroud, yes, sir. Give me some more. I love every minute of that hypothetical, but it is an unrealistic trade scenario for a reason. I don't see the Ravens trading both of these tight ends. It'd be highly unlikely, no pun intended there, for the Baltimore Ravens to maybe extend Isaiah Likely. They're going to have to do something money-wise to get him extended. I know there was a rumor out there that he could definitely get extended, but then you got two tight ends there, and they don't really necessarily use Mark Andrews the way I think they could use him. And the Texans, well, I know CJ Stroud getting a tight end at that caliber, ooh, that offense could look awfully scary. Y'all let me know if there is a tight end out there that y'all believe the Houston Texans should go after. Do you feel confident in Dalton Schultz possibly having a bounce back year? Maybe it happens. Nick Caserio is here. Maybe there is some sort of a good Dalton Schultz year, however way you want to slice it. Or do you think one of these other tight ends are going to step up their game and have themselves a damn good season for the Texans in 2025? Let me know down in the comment section. You know I'll reply. As always, guys, go Astros, go Rockets, go Texans. You have a blessed day.